Hello and welcome to the first ever Hammers Chat community tier list video. We're trying something different tonight, Charlie. A little experiment.
Yeah. I don't know how it's going to go. We're going to vibe it. We've got the tier list ready. We all watched your one yesterday, hopefully. If you haven't, go and watch it, but after this, of course. And let's get some rankings going. Let's get some controversies going.
Yes, because my video itself, there's a few people disagree with a few of the players I put in. I think there's a few straightforwards, there's a few tap-ins, but I would say a quarter of the squad splits opinion, and that's the bit I'm looking forward to. So what we're going to do tonight, we've got the tier list set up, and we've got 4 categories, and we've also got all the players in the squad, including Felipe Anderson, who's out on loan. What we're going to do is we're going to ask you guys in the live chat to put up your opinions and what category you think each player should go in. We will judge what we think is a popular opinion. We will put that player in that category. Walsh, do you want to take a look at the tiers?
Let's do it. What are they?
Right, first up, we've got key man. I probably should have worded this a bit better. What it means is that David Moyes sees him being here for the next 2-3 years easily. He's got a place in Moyes' long-term plans at West Ham United. You happy with that, Charlie?
Yeah, makes sense. It's the people we know are vital to the future of West Ham.
Yeah. So he'll do for now. This is the category that is basically they're going to get phased out over the next 2 or 3 years. It can be because of age. It can be because of ability. For whatever reason, that Moyes will probably need to replace them at some point in the next 2 or 3 years. It can be for different reasons. We'll get into the reasons as we go. Then we've got yes, no, maybe, I don't know. A little bit of Malcolm in the middle here, Charlie. You liking my choice?
I'm enjoying it. It's something. This is where the controversies lie. I watched your video, and there were some people who were like, "Oh, you've got to put them in this category instead of that." These are the tiers where there's a lot of interchangeable players, I feel.
Yeah. So yes, no, maybe, I don't know. It's the players we're not sure. They might become a key player. They might do for now. They might need to get sold. We don't know. We need to gather more evidence as to what we think is going to happen with this player at West Ham United in the long term. Then the bottom category is let's get him sold. It does what it says on the tin. We're going to slap a for sale sign on them and kick him in to the shop window in the summer transfer. You good, Charlie? You good with the tiers?
I'm excited. Let's do this. Let's get it going.
Right. So live chat, we want you to get involved, obviously. So when we bring up a player, get your opinion in with what category they should go in. You can just do 1 to 4 if you want. So 1 being key and 4 being sold, or just give us your opinion as well. We'll get your opinions on the screen. So, Mr. Walsh, how would you like to kick off? Where are we starting?
I don't know. So I tell you what. Let's start with a goalkeeper, shall we? Let's start with Fabianski.
Yeah. Lucas Fabianski, live chat. Where we're putting Lucas Fabianski. Key, he'll do for now. We don't know, or let's get him sold. I put him in, Charlie, while people get their comments in. Everybody's saying category number 2. This is where I put him because of an age thing, purely because of age. What are you thinking, Walsh?
It depends what you class as for now. Like, I think Fabianski, if you said to me, Fabianski was our first choice goalkeeper for the next 2 years, I would probably be happy enough. However, if someone came along, if there was, say, Dean Henderson, for example, became available and we went all out for it, I would be hyped. So 2 feels like the fair ground between that, but I wouldn't be opposed to putting him in key man, but the second category feels like the right one for me.
I think the live chat, everybody but one person, 2 people have said he'll do for now. There's 1 or 2 people that said put him in the next 2. Ross has been a little bit controversial here. Ross is saying sell him. I can understand that because if Dean Henderson did come available and we needed to then sell Fabianski to try and get a couple of million back in the club, then I could understand why Ross has put him in the sell him thing. But yeah, so we'll put him in category number 2, will we, Charlie? Let's put him in the he'll do for now because that's what the main bulk of the chat are saying. Would you agree?
I agree. Seen a lot of 2, so he's going in he'll do for now.
Right, who are we going for next? Leave the controversial ones to the end. We know who it is.
Well,
the main one.
Okay, so if we're not going controversial, should we do Declan Rice?
Let's get Declan Rice. Declan Rice, where are we putting Declan Rice? This one was the easiest one for me, Charlie. He's the key man, isn't he? He's the one that, if you had such a thing as a 10-year contract in football, you'd give it to Declan Rice, wouldn't you?
You would. I mean, controversially, I think there is an argument to be putting him, let's get him sold. because I feel like obviously as a player, he's the best. He's one of the best players in the team, if not the best player in the team. That's obvious. Everyone can see that. Even the outside world will finally start admitting it. Do you remember when we did that video of do we overrate Declan Rice? No one would say we overrate Declan Rice anymore because everyone has sort of realised it. But I do think there's a chance you could look at him like our golden ticket to progress. There's no other players in the squad who'll go for as much money. And if we really, really want to go wild, there's, I think, an argument to say, sell him, get as much money as possible and reinvest that in a load of players that Moyes could use as opposed to just one. However, I don't know if I've got the guts to put him anywhere but the top category. I can't.
Cormac agrees with you. Agrees with you. I think he's the only one though. But I mean, Tony's got the laughing emojis next to his number 4, so I think he's just laughing at what you're saying. But yeah, he's got to go in the number 1, hasn't he? He's got to go in the key man. The live chat are saying key man as well. But Danilo saying what you're saying here, selling players at their dearest best work for Leicester City. I would argue it worked for Tottenham as well with Bale and Modric.
I think Tottenham are always the one I look at, like, because people look at the people they bought and go, oh, look how many of them flopped, and I'm like, yeah, but if you buy 8 of them and say 5 of them flop, but 3 of them become 3 times the value they were, like Ericsson, or become whatever, then it's kind of worth it, you know?
Yeah, right. Stick him in number 1, Charlie. Stick him in the number 1.
Yeah, as much as I say anything, he's going in number 1, isn't he? Let's be real.
He's going in number 1. Where are we going next? Who are we picking up next, Charlie? What are you fancying?
I tell you what, if we're sticking on the non dodgy ones, let's say Felipe Anderson.
Felipe Anderson, right? Where are we putting Felipe Anderson? Where would you put him, Charlie?
Let's get him sold. I think at this point, I've always liked Felipe Anderson more than most people have. I will admit that. I think there is a good player in there, and I think if we could consistently get it out of him, it would be a huge thing. But realistically, it's just he's for his sake as much as ours. He also needs to go. I don't think there's a way you can look around it where you're like, keep Felipe Anderson, unfortunately.
Interestingly, we're going to have to keep our eye on the live chat here, Charlie, because I think they're 50-50 at the minute. There's a lot of people like Matthew saying he has to go, Anderson has to go. But there's also a lot of people like Oscar saying category number 3, which is let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at him. Is there an argument for giving him a chance under sort of the new West Ham, if you like?
Potentially. I mean, Moyes has never really had the opportunity to use him fully. And I think one of the things I've been slowly more impressed by with Moyes is how when we first went on that run, I felt like we had 11 players who work in this formation, this style. But as we've gone on, we see more and more people coming into the fold and actually working. And so I'm like, do you know what? If there's an opportunity to put him in and see what he does and see what Moyes can do with him, see what the backroom staff with him, I wouldn't be against it. But realistically, he's on such high wages, and he's one of the few assets that we could sell for. I don't think it'd be a lot of money in today's market, but it would still be some money. I think you probably have to take it, unfortunately.
What do you think the live chat's saying? How are you feeling there? What are you saying as a category here? Because this is their tier list. So where are we putting Felipe Anderson?
I'm struggling to differentiate between 3 and 4 as well. There's one or two people who go everywhere else, but I think there might be 3. If I'm being honest,
I think it's 3. I think we're going to go 3. I think we're going to have to go 3. Alan's saying he might come back a little bit more hungry. There was people saying that Moyes gets the best out of him, so let's give Moyes a chance to get the best out of Felipe Anderson, because we are in a much different position now as to what we were. I put him in the bottom category because we need money, don't we? And Felipe Anderson does have some value. Put him in 3, Charlie. I think the live chat's saying
put him in 3. I try to avoid controversy, and we've gone Felipe Anderson's not being. That feels somewhat controversial at this point. Feels a little bit like that.
Yeah. Right. What we're doing next? What we've got next?
Jared Bowen.
Yeah. Okay. Jared Bowen. Where did you put Jared? Live chat. Jared Bowen. Where are we putting Jared Bowen? What did you say? What are you saying, Walsh?
His age. When I watched yours, I understood your argument with the age and everything else, and I think that's in his favor. Currently, I'd probably put him in he'll do for now. I'm not certain whether Jared Bowen at this point, if you asked me after his first season, I would have gone obviously key man. There's no doubt about it. And even now, when he's been sort of struggling a little bit, he's still our 3rd top goal scorer, I think, with 5 goals or something. He's still doing all right. But I'm not convinced he is the long-term future at West Ham that I thought he might have been before. But Having said that, 50% of his time's been amazing. 50% of his time's been so-and-so. So it's not like I have no faith in him. I just have a little bit less than I did have. So at this point, I'd probably put him in 2.
I actually think a lot of people are agreeing with you. I think a lot of people are putting him in the he'll do for now category. I think 2 is far popular in the live chat rather than the 1. I put him in the key player because I felt he works under David Moyes. He fits what David Moyes wants to do. I think that sort of gives you the status quo, if you like, in this squad, that if you can actually play the way Moyes wants to play defensively and offensively, you're going to do well. And I think Jared Bowen can do that. I think he's just lacking a little bit of something, but that's why I put him in the key one. Like I said, I probably worded key wrong. It should be called long term or something. That's why I put him in long term, because I'd be surprised if Bowen isn't here in 4 years' time at West Ham, because I don't think he's good enough to push on and go and do better than West Ham, but he's not he's not poor. He's a good player. He's a good player for West Ham. And I reckon out of all our squad, he's probably one of, off the top of my head, 5 or 6 players I reckon will be here in 2025, 2026 season. I think Jared Bowen.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. And I do think when you think about Jared Bowen, he does sort of have he does sort of slightly remind you of players that were at Leverton long term. People who you never thought, they're going to go up and up and up levels and levels, but they were doing the exact job that David Moyes needed them to do. So I think that's a fair point.
Chris Green says he's had a strong start, but gone massively off the boil and still making the same mistakes over and over. Give him another year or 2 and we should see where he's at. Trust in Moyes. I think the ride chart, Charlie, is category 2 for this. I would probably agree with you as well. I would probably agree with you. Yeah, I think there's not many people agreeing with me with the key player, but no one said 3 or 4, so I think it's 2.
So 2?
Yeah, we'll put him in 2. Who are we going for next? Come on, what are we going for next?
Let's go with Pablo Fornals.
Pablo Fornals, live chat. Where are we putting Pablo Fornals? What's category? Where are you putting him, Charlie?
Key man for me. Key man. I think he's got his age on his side, which I've just said about Jared Bowen. He works in David Moyes' system, which he just said about Jared Bowen. But for me, I think he's underrated somewhat. I think he does such a good job, and like everyone talks about him being slow, for example. But how many times when we have those counter-attacking goals is he A, either involved in the build-up, or B, right up alongside the person who eventually takes the shot and scores? I think he's great. Like the fact that he's playing out of position and still doing bits. For me, Pablo Fornals is a key man going forward and he also has that versatility. You know, we don't like him on the left, but he exists there. But he can play as a number 10, and we could probably drop him into a deeper position. So for me, it's a key man position.
I think the live chat split again between 1 and 2. I think there's really split. Pablo Fornals does this though. Fornals, there's 2 or 3 players in this squad that really do just split opinion among the fan base. Sebastian Allaire was a prime example. He's gone now. And I think now Pablo Fornals has become that pin-up player that really does split the fan base. It used to be Mark Noble, but I think most people now have they all agree with Noble, which is his time's up. You know, his legs have gone a little bit and needs replaced. So more people have sort of come together with Noble. But with Fornals, I find it very 50-50. What do you think is the live chat saying for Pablo Fornals, 1 or 2? We're putting him.
I have a little scroll. Apart from Lucas,
who
won about 18,000 times.
Yeah, Scarborough Hammer says he doesn't have winger's pace, and in the middle he suits us so much better. Lucas, can you please stop putting your answer in 101 times? Just put it in once, please, because I keep seeing loads of 2s, and it's Lucas that's doing all the 2s. So just once, thank you. Otherwise, we'll put you in YouTube jail for 5 minutes. Right, so what are you saying, Charlie? 1 or 2?
Ignoring Lucas, I think the consensus is 1, but it's very tight. It is very tight.
Go for 1 then. Put him in the key man. I'm agreeing with that. I think there's more 1s now after Lucas's.
Pablo Fornals is in number 1. There he is. He's in. Ignore Mike Moss. Anyway,
there we go. So Pablo Fornals goes into the key player category. Who's next, Charlie?
Let's do a defender. Let's do Fabian Balbuena.
Fabian Balbuena. Ooh, this could be an interesting one. I think this is an interesting one. Currently, his contract's up at the end of the season. So if you're going to put him in and let's get him sold, I think you're basically giving him away for free. Okay, so I think you've got to bear that in mind.
Yeah.
So we're putting him in the key man. He'll do for now. You're not sure, or give him away essentially for Fabian Balbuena. What are you saying, Charlie? Well, I'll have a look at the live chat.
He's one of those ones a bit. I think your argument, for example, with Jared Bowen about him being long term, I think is true. I think Balbuena is going to be here a good long while. I think Moyes has grown to trust him over the course of this season, whereas before this, I thought it was never going to happen. I felt he would have been there. However, I don't think he's ever going to be the out-and-out, non-stop first-choice centre-back at West Ham. So given that, I would probably make the argument he'll do for now. But he is the youngest of our 4 centre-backs, is he? Oh, apart from Diop, I guess. He's the youngest.
Yeah.
He's the youngest. Yeah, I'd probably say he'll do for now. I guess I would say he will do for now, but I do think, like Jared Bowen, like you said, I think he'll be here for a long time.
Yeah, the live chat's getting split. I mean, Cormac says category number 2, he'll do for now. He's all right. He's not amazing, not the worst. He'll stick around if we offer him a new contract. Stan says out of contract and doesn't start, so he would put him in, get him gone. Forge from Iron says that contract is up 29 behind Diop now, as well as Dawson or Bowen. Alves is moving up ahead next season, possibly. So he would also, by the sounds of it, put him in category 4 and get him gone. Ray says that he loves the fact that we have 4 great centre-backs.
Yeah.
The general is perfect for our squad. Benny says at 3, squad player best, but does a job when called upon. What are you saying in the live chat, say, Charlie? I think it's between the middle 2.
I think it is as well. I think probably 3.
Yeah,
maybe is where the live chat lies.
I think people are undecided. People are undecided. I think it's because of Alves, actually. I think, Alex says here 4 if Alves is supposedly working really well. So I put him in the 3 because I think we're keeping around kind of thing. And if Alves does well, then he becomes a number 4, doesn't he? But if Alves is not working out, then he sort of has to go into the number 2. So I would put him in the number 3. I'll go by what the live chat's saying. I put him in number 2 personally, but I can see why people are a little bit unsure of him.
Yeah. Well, we'll put him in 3. We've put him in 3 because if anything, the chat don't know.
The chat are good. I listen. I like law of averages. I like numbers. I always say football fans know nothing. Go with the football managers, but we're just football fans. But when 90% of the football fans say the same thing, generally there's something to it. Do you know when everybody's saying Roberto should be dropped? Mm-hmm. Yes, Pellegrini's the manager, but when 90% of the fan base think the same thing, I think it's naive to dismiss it. Anyway, 3, in he goes. Some people think it's harsh. Performer saying 3, wow. Harry Parker, 3 seems harsh, but that's what the live chat say. We're going with the live chat.
Just going with what they say. Going with what they say. It's not us. It's not us. We both argued for 2. Live chat.
I put him in 2.
I put him in 2.
Anyway.
Live chat.
Who we got next? What's next, Charlie?
Let's go with a slightly less spicy one. Yarmolenko.
Oh, I think we're all going to put Yarmolenko.
I think there's an obvious answer here.
So Andre Yarmolenko, we're putting Yarmolenko. Key man, you'll do for now.
Obviously, key man. He scores
bangers.
He scores bangers. He does score bangers. Where are we putting him?
Well,
do you know what? Right, let's try. Let's see if I can make this argument. I don't think I can because I don't think I even believe it myself.
Good luck.
There are few people in this squad that I think can score like Andre Yarmolenko can. There are a few people when they're on the ball make me go, we could actually score instantaneously here, as I do when Yarmolenko is on the ball. There's some of his goals are just, he shouldn't be scoring. Do you remember that one where he was basically falling over and swung his leg at it and yet it's still arrowing into the bottom corner? Like the guy just has technique. Do I believe that he shouldn't go in for? I don't know, but I'm trying to make an argument at least.
George says he's the best finisher at the club and scores important goals. Performer, he gets goals. Put him in category number 3. Most people are saying category number 4. Adam, 4, gone, out the door. Do you know if he wasn't injury prone, I would put him in category 2 probably. If he was injured 80% of the season, I would say, yeah, right. I've always defended him, but I've stopped defending him since we signed Jesse Lingard. I think the signing of Jesse Lingard is what's made Yarmolenko a little bit surplus to requirements, unfortunately, because Lingard carries the threat that Yarmolenko carried. And I agree with you, not many of our team do it. Unfortunately, we now have better players than him. He's just injury prone, that's all. If you didn't have that.
So if we didn't sign Lingard in the summer, where would you put Yarmolenko?
I'd still get rid of him and replace Jesse Lingard.
That's fair enough.
So I think the live chat are saying 4. So.
Yeah, I think they've all decided 4. I just felt like that category looked a bit empty. I think we needed to go.
I think Kyle sums up: gets goals, but high wages, and injury prone, and that would sum up Yarmolenko. Right, whoever going next?
Arthur Masuaku. Spicy.
I think a few people disagreed with me about this one. I put him in the I can't remember where I put him in the we'll see for now, or I might have actually even put him in the we'll wait and see kind of thing because I'm not convinced by him. Where would you put him?
I'd put yes, no, maybe. I don't know. I think I think as a wing back, it works. Definitely. I think as a wing back where he can't be as exposed, it definitely works. And he is really good. One of the things he's great at which works for Moyes, is when we're sitting deep and we're up against it, if you get him the ball, he can steam the entire pitch all the way up with incredible control. Like, he actually can do it. It's genuinely impressive. He's one of the few people in the squad who has a really good ability to just relieve pressure through just dribbling excellence, right? So in a wing-back system, it works. However, if we're playing left-back, he doesn't fit. Now, someone said something. It might be James to me yesterday, or someone said something to me yesterday. The idea of maybe Masuaku doing like what Fredericks did at playing right wing, left wing, maybe coming on late in the game, putting him in that position. Is that something we'd look at if we were playing at 4 at the back? I don't know. For me personally, I'd put him in yes, no, maybe, I don't know. Frankly, because he's never been consistent enough for me to make a decision on him. When he plays good, he's excellent. When he doesn't, he's not. So if we got rid of him, I'd be like, yeah, there you go. James is claiming it. Shout out to James. Give him the credit. If it was me, if he was consistent, then he'd go higher. But for me, I don't know which Masuaku is going to turn up once he comes back from injury. So at this point, I'd say I don't know. But certainly not enough to just say get him out the door instantly.
Agree. HL says number 1, key man, vital to playing 5 at the back. We don't play that system well without him. Most people thought a category number 2 here, Charlie. I think the majority are saying category number 2. Feels Andy says that 2 because it's important we have more than one left back. Xavier says he'd sell him. Number 4, the category is right. Cameron, category number 3, give him time for Johnson to develop and on his days top quality, but largely inconsistent. And there's the comment I think that sums up Arthur Masuaku a little bit. George says category number 2 because I think that his injury is the reason we're playing 4 at the back. I think with him fit, we would be playing 3 at the back every single game. Can't disagree. Dean says end product not good enough. West Ham official Jake says that Johnson could be the replacement that shoves him out the door. Kyle said he'd flog him while his stock is high. Yeah, so I want him to be consistent, but really has been fantastic things from him though. I think the chat saying category number 2, Charlie. I think as soon as you said Masuaku, a load of 2s came flying up, and now we're getting the sort of the comments rather than the numbers. Category number 2. I'm happy with that.
Do you want to pick the next person? You can have a pick in the next person if you wish.
Okay. I'm going to go for this one.
Oh,
Michael Antonio.
Oh,
let's see.
Throwing me specifically under the bus here.
Not you. No, I think you'll put him in the same category as I did.
I
actually thought I'd get called out more for Antonio than I actually did because I put him in the he'll do for now. Where would you put him?
He'll do for now as well, yeah.
Right, let's go jump to the live chat and I'll get your reasonings because they disagree with us. Matthew, Thomas, 1, Catharsis 2, Oscar, Alex, Paul, all 1s. But George and Ben and Louis all agree with us. Rick disagrees. Boothammer, Oscar, Foe, Lucas, lots and lots of 1s here, Charlie. Paige, 1. Sean says a 3. He's the only one that said a 3 so far. Daniel is on my wavelength here because of time left and injury. That's why I put him in the number 2 category. But lots of number 1s. I think we've got to put him in the key man because of the live chat. But Neil's saying what I'm saying too because of age and injuries. But what are you saying, Charlie? Why would you put him in? He'll do for now.
It's not even injuries for me. It's just age, really. I think, as you said, you feel like he's probably a striker at this point. He's definitely a striker at this point. I would agree with you. I think it's his best position. Like, I've had this conversation a couple of times about, he skies the ball way less often than he used to. I'm like, yeah, because he's closer to the goal. He physically can't. If he's skying it from there, he's doing it incredibly wrong. I think for me, he is a striker. He's good. He works within the system, but his age for me is just not someone we can rely on long term. I think we need to be looking at his replacement at this point. We need to be finding his replacement so that in a year, in 2 years, where he's not quite as good as he is right now, we have the person ready to step up into that. I don't want to. It's what you said about the Leicester centre back situation. I want my Soyuncu here ready to step into Antonio's shoes. I don't want to wait. So for me, it's for now, but with all due respect, because let's be real, for the last since Moyes has come back, he's been absolutely vital to this team.
Yeah, Robert says all this depends who we get in. But Robert, that means category number 2 because that's why I'm putting him in category number, because we're going to get another striker in that's going to sort of dislodge him a little bit. Because if he was a key man, you wouldn't look to replace him, would you? You're happy with that as your first choice striker. Put him in the key man, Charlie. I think the live chat said key man. I understand why. I thought they would. But I think he is a striker now. Not much in accuracy, but because of his position, actually. You know, his goal against Man City was purely down to instinct and positioning that a striker should have. That's what it was. It was a striker's goal. So Performer's changed to number 2. I don't know what he was, but we've now changed Performer. We've convinced him. We've convinced. We've influenced someone. Does that mean we can now be called
influencers? There we go. Who never thought it'd be the day.
To sum up, Antonio, with a comment. I like doing this for every player now. I've got Scott's one here. It says, number 2, he has a future at the club, but we need a replacement. It would be a brilliant impact sub or to be used on the wing. Right. Next player. Who are we going with?
Non-controversial, I think, Thomas Souček.
Thomas Souček,
the potato salad man.
When you put a 1, put a comment next to him as well, so that we can just put a couple of comments on the screen rather than just loads of 1s, because
it's gonna be, the chat is gonna be 1 for a while at this point, I think. Yeah, I'd be interested to see if anyone can make an argument for anything but 1. No.
Well, people might use your Declan Rice argument and put him in a 4, because they might think actually we need to keep Rice, and Souček is the one we're more likely to be able to replace. But I mean, Ziggy's put him in a 4, but I don't know if Ziggy's trying to wind us up or if he's not. But I think
the difference between Souček and Rice in that sense for me is Souček is worth a lot less than Rice. Let's say we sold Souček even for 50 million. 50 million gets you a lot less than 100 million would, for example.
I think there's also defensive midfielders out there that we can buy, like Basuma, whereas a box-to-box midfielder like Souček, I can't think of one. Tielemans he's not really box-to-box, but he's someone that plays next to a defensive midfielder and does well. But there's not that many of them. It'd be very difficult to replace them, I think. So like everybody's just saying 1, so stick him in category number 1. Nice and easy.
Big boy going in the big category. It was always going to happen. It was an inevitability, wasn't it?
Yeah. What we're going next? Who we got next?
Darren
Randy.
Big beardy boy himself.
Where are you putting him, Mr. Walsh?
It's between 4 and 3 for me. If Lucas Fabianski got injured, would I be comfortable with Randolph being our number 1 keeper? No, not at this stage. Not in the position we find ourselves in. If we were having a usual season or a season that's been usual recently, where we've been struggling and at the bottom and sort of going along, I'd be more comfortable with Darren Randolph playing at that sort of level of club. But I think we need to be aiming higher than that. I think we need to be bigger than that. I think Darren Randolph specifically, even more so than our other goalkeepers, is standing in the way of youth players getting in and getting more chances. For me, I think it's probably 4. I think it would be 4 for me.
I think the live chat's agreeing with you. I think 4 is edging 3 here. I think a lot of people are sort of edging over to the 4th. Benny says that not that we would get much for him, but I don't like him coming in to fill for Fabianski, so no point in being at the club. I mean, I think that's a fair comment. I put him in the he'll do for now because coming up to the summer, I just don't see us buying a goalkeeper. So he's just going to have to do for now. But I do think that in the next year or 2, we need a new number 1 goalie. And I would like to see the knock-on effect. That's if Fabianski goes on the bench and Randolph departs the club, essentially. So that's why I put him in the he'll do for now. But yeah, I think most people are saying 4. They're agreeing with you, Charlie. Put him in the 4.
Darren Randolph.
George, to sum up Darren Randolph, probably the best keeper in the Championship. He's not strong enough to start for us without Fabianski. And all the top clubs have backup keepers who'd be number 1 for most Premier League clubs. I guess that's sort of goes back to what Pellegrini used to say. You want to be a big club, you've got to have a big club mentality. And what George is saying there is a big club mentality.
Let's go sentimental next. Winston Reed.
Winnie Reed. Where are you putting him? This one hurt me putting him in doing Winston Reed.
Yeah, I think I'm probably The thing is, he's been playing well for Brentford, right? I'm not crazy when I say that. He's been doing bits for Brentford.
You want man a match, and all the Brentford fans are tweeting West Ham's official account to say thank you.
If realistically, if we sold a centre back, Diop, for example, would we be unhappy if Winston Reed came in as fourth choice?
No, I think so. Actually, I think a lot of people would prefer to see Alves.
That's a good point. The chat has been talking about Alves a lot. I think I just rate Alves.
I do think a lot of people listen. I think Adrian sums him up here. The club has moved on. Love him, but there are enough players coming through. I think that's the right way. HL says yes, no, maybe he's not ready to say goodbye. He's still got hope that he could come back and play for us again. I'm a bit like that. I've got much love for Winston Reed, the best centre back I've seen play at West Ham. Although Bonner's pushing him close, I keep harping on about that performance that they actually had, but it's one of my favourite performances I've seen. Put him in number 4. I think the live chat's in number 4
with a heavy heart. It is in number 4. Like when Alan Sugar fires someone when he likes him on The Apprentice. It's with a heavy heart, you're fired. I'm sorry, it's gone. Opposite side, Craig Dawson.
Live chat, we're putting Craig Dawson. I struggled with this one, actually. It's not as straightforward as you think, I don't think. I put him in the key player because I think he's already in the long-term plans for David Moyes.
I think he probably is. The age argument you made as well was good. He's 30, so it's not like he's over the hill or anything. He's got a couple more years being at his top level as a centre back, and he doesn't rely on pace anyway to begin with. A bit like Collins in that sense, where he's probably can stick around a little bit longer in that sense. Do I see him as a key man? No. I think that's the difference for me when I look at it and I say, if someone else was playing ahead of him, would I be fuming?
Yeah, but like I said at the start, when I say key man, I mean long-term plans. You need more than 2 centre-backs. You need 3 or 4 in your squad. You've got to have 4 key centre-backs, haven't you? You've got to have 4 players that you want at this club. Or if you can have 3 key, you can have 1 or 2 in the he'll do for now. But the idea is you replace those 2 he'll do for now in the long term.
Out of interest, just if we were, say he was ours already, we'd bought him, whatever, he was ours. If someone came in to try and buy Craig Dawson, what would you value him at, out of interest?
8 million.
Yeah, that's probably about fair, isn't it? I think for me, I think you've probably convinced me. I would say key man. But I will say when I watched your video, my brain was very firmly stuck on 2. But I think now in the spotlight, I've said 1.
Stick to 2.
I'll stick with 2. He'll do for now. Yeah. And that's not to belittle him because I think he's a legend. And again, I would like to bring it up because I always do. I was the one person who said we should sign Craig Dawson. Everyone else was telling me I said we should sign him. So, and I'm going to keep saying that forever.
George says he's a key man right now, but not in a few years. The question is, can he stay at this level for multiple seasons, especially when he's aging? I think that's a fair point. I think the live chat are saying 2 as well, Charlie. I think the majority of the live chat are saying 2. Yeah, get him in the he'll do for now category.
Craig Dawson and his picture very clearly taken at a different time from the rest of the squad at number.
Yeah, but it's not as bad. Let's do this guy next then. Issa Diop. Have you seen his picture? I don't even have one of Diop this season. That's just for people that don't know. I got all these photos from the official website, okay? This season's official website. I went on the season squad and Diop's wearing last season's shirt. They don't even take a picture of him this season.
I've seen it before when I've been taking pictures for the thumbnails and stuff. It's unreal. It's a beautiful moment. It's a Diop.
I reckon he had COVID on photo shoot day.
That might be, because there was a sign, there was a time.
But you think they'd go, like when they're doing Lingard, you think they say, like, Issa, you need to come in as well, mate. Just one photo.
They could literally just take it at any other time.
Yeah. Anyway, he's splitting opinion. He is splitting opinion in the live chat. Where are you putting him?
I'm stuck between 1 and 4. I'm stuck between 1 and 4. I think he's got the right age, he's got the right build. I think if give him more time under David Moyes, I think he could become. Thank you very much, bro. I think he could become a first team choice, a first choice centre back for a club chasing European competitions quite easily. Right, and that's where we should be aiming for. If Issa Diop was playing for another team, we'd look at him and go, "That's a bet we should take on," just like we did last time. So in that case, I'm thinking, I put him in number 1. But equally, he is one of those people who commands a fee still. And would we miss him massively given his current performances if we lost him? Probably not.
Abdullah's comment sums it up here. Key man, he has lots of potential and will become consistent. However, Harry Parker's agreeing with you. Diop 4 only because he's worth a few quid. Whereas Scott agreed with what I said. Can't get number 3, which is can't decide. Fails in when needed, but not convinced he's our long-term future. That's exactly my thoughts as well. I've been reasonably impressed with him this season, but that's it. I'm not being wowed. Craig Dawson's wowed me. Bonner's wowed me. Balbuena's impressed me more than Diop. Sufal's wowed me. Diop's come in. I'm like, he's doing all right. He's doing good. But he's doing good, and that's all. The rest of the team, this is not a poor team. This team are playing excellent. They're 4th in league. Is he playing like a Champions League defender? No. Is our level? Well, arguably not, but we're 4th on merit. Yeah. But I can see the case for category number 1. I think most people are agreeing with you, Charlie, which is category number 1, key player. I can completely understand why, though, because of his age and stuff that you've got.
I think there's also an argument to say, and it's the thing you said originally, that second summer where his value dropped, and we all spoke about it. Easily, if he put in those performances again, his value would triple quite easily. And I think over time, I do, and this is something I don't like saying because, as most people know, I'm not a huge fan of David Moyes. I do trust him to get the best performances out of him. I trust this squad. I trust this management team. I trust the coaching staff. So I think, I'd stick with 1. So are you saying 1?
Yeah, I'm saying 1. I think the live chat, I've said 1.
That's fair enough.
Anthony's right. Anthony's right. You can't expect every young player to be at a peak of 23. And Lauren said, can't get number 1. Still a young lad with plenty of potential. Who have we got next?
Let's say Manuel Lanzini.
Manuel Lanzini, I put him in the bottom category. And it's taken me a long time to get to this point, Charlie. It's taken me a long time. I've been clinging to old Manu.
I'm still... It's between 4 and 3. I think 4 is the obvious option. I think if I was to make an argument for 3, I'd say... I was going to say, do we really want to sell him this and have to replace him as well as everyone else we're going to have to replace? I don't know, but then that's still not really long-term thinking. That's still short-term thinking. It's just one more window down the line sort of thing. So in that case, I probably would say 4. One of the arguments I would say, how much money would we get for him? I don't know how much it would actually be. And at that point, there's a risk. There's a factor of saying, because what's his wages? His wages aren't 100 grand, for example, are they?
60, 70, something. I don't know.
If we sell him and he's only going to get, say, 10 million for him, is that worth it?
Okay, but would you if Man United came in and said 10 million in Lanzini for Lingard, what would you say?
Yes.
So Lingard's 20 million, you're saying is 10 million worth it for Lanzini? Well, it is if you're then putting 10 million into the pot and going and getting Lingard in return.
I don't know if I would. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's one of those things where I think I don't want to see change. But the thing is, out of all the people that we have here, I'm fairly confident he's not going to work out in this David Moyes side at this point. So
I've got a massive devil's advocate at the end of this video, by the way. Someone made a really good point in the comments in my tier list video, which made me think, and I'm going to do it at the end and not during this because it'll change everyone's answers with the devil's advocate thing. And Neil says, again, love Lanzini, but he's had his chances. Does not look like he's a player he used to be. What do you think the live chat's saying? I know what I think they're saying, but what do you... They
seem to be saying it's like me. It's split between 3 and 4, but I think they're probably saying 4 over 3.
I agree with you. I think they're saying 4.
Manuel Lanzini, where is he? I've lost him.
He's pointing to the roof.
There he is.
He's pointing to him above him.
He's pointing to the people above him.
Look at all them glorious tears.
Okay, let's go with Aaron Cresswell.
Oh, I like this one. Aaron Cresswell. Live chat. Where are we putting Aaron Cresswell? What tier? Charlie, where are you putting him?
He'll do for now. It's a solid 2 for me.
He's got to be because he's getting on a bit. What is he now? 31? No.
He must be. He's in his 30s, I would suspect.
Yeah, I think he's maybe 30. He's 30 or 31, right? Yeah. But solid season. I don't think he can be in anything except category number 2, personally.
Yeah, if he If he had had a worse season, he would probably drop down into 3. But at this point, he's had such a solid season. He can play 2 different positions. It's a case of he'll do for now, and it's someone we're going to be looking to try and upgrade in the near future, I suspect.
HL sums him up perfectly. 2, if he was younger, to be a key man. I completely agree with that. If he was 27, 28, I'd have him in the key man, but he's not. Some saying 1, Daniel saying 1, so good this year, borderline 2. Jamie's put him in the number 1 category as well. Harry's confirming he is 31 years old. Trevor, key man. He's come again looking very good. And Neil, only because of his age, tier 2.
I think that's fair, and I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
So I think the live chat is saying 2.
Yeah, I think so. James D says 3. We need someone to push him out of the team. He's had a few dodgy moments, and lost a few points because of his errors. I agree with that, but I would still keep Cresswell here, and it'd be Masuaku I'd get rid of in order to bring someone in to push Cresswell out of the team, if you know what I mean. That's what I wanted last summer, and I don't necessarily want that. I'm happy with Masuaku and Cresswell. But anyway, who we got next? What's up? Who's up?
David Martin.
Before we get on to David Martin, do drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're around here. Also, if you fancy becoming a patron, go to patreon.com/Hammers Chat. If you want more Hammers Chat content, more videos, more Gio, more Charlie, and more Gonzo. And unfortunately, you've got to pay for the privilege, but you can support us from just £3.60 per month, and you get at least 1 video per week and at least 1 video per game. So there's a game, you get 2 videos that week, and so on and so forth. Check it out. David Martin, what are you saying, Charlie?
He'll do for now.
His contract's up. So if you're putting him in, he'll do for now. You've got to give him a new deal.
He'll do for now. I'm happy with him just existing as a third choice. My one thing that I thought about was when the injury happened and he started warming up in the last game. We had Trott on the bench at the same time, didn't we? They were both on the bench.
Yes.
This is my problem, and it's something you say all the time. If he's not coming on, then when is Trott coming on? Now, in my head, David
Martin comes on and gets injured.
Yeah. In my head, he isn't in the way of Nathan Trott. I think Nathan Trott can just jump over him. He exists there, but that is proof that that's wrong. That's literal proof, because otherwise he would have been the one warming up. I want to say he'll do for now, because I would be more than happy with him just existing as a sort of third choice goalkeeper at the club. He ups the English quota. There's benefits to him existing. Like, he's on nothing. So there's a bit of sentimentality here. I'm fine with it, but that is my single issue. So at this point, I have to say yes, no, maybe. I don't know, only because I think there needs to be that stepping stone for youth players. And if it doesn't exist, then it doesn't exist. So I would say yes, no. I would have said he'll do for now before I saw him warming up. And then instantly I was like, it has to be category 3 for me.
Just for clarity, Paul saying, what's the point in trying to sell player Martin? We're not trying to sell him, Paul. We're getting rid of him. His contract's up at the end of the season. We'll be handshake. Thank you for your services. Away you go. And we replace him with Nathan Trott. So I put him in category number 4 just purely because his contract's up, and I want to see Nathan Trott be given a bit of a route. But I also do hope that he gets a gig at the club in terms of goalkeeping coaching, because I never really considered it before until I can't remember who it was. Remember when Man City signed Richard Wright, and someone said, what are they bringing him in for? It's purely for the homegrown quota. And I remember someone saying, well, it was an ex-goalkeeper that was on like Sky Sports or something, and he turned around and said, no, it's not, because it's partly because of the homegrown thing, but it's also so that Joe Hart and whoever the other goalie was at the time can go away and work with the goalkeeping coach, and Richard Wright goes in goal, and Balotelli's belting balls at him, and they've actually got a really experienced goalie in goal up against the striker for training when they're doing their sort of set pieces and stuff. They've got Richard Wright in goal, not like a 16-year-old kid who's getting barged into the back of the net by Mario Balotelli. So that's why someone like David Martin can be quite important actually around the training ground. Even though he never plays on the training ground, he can be vital. But I do think the live chat are saying category number 4 here, which is right. Who we got next?
We'll go Ryan Fredericks.
Ryan Fredericks, put him in the live chat. Ryan Fredericks, what are you saying, Charlie? Where are you putting him?
He'll do for now. I am happy with Ryan Fredericks being our second choice right back. I've been more impressed with him this season than I ever have been. There's sometimes where he goes forward. I think he does stuff that even Kafal doesn't do. I think he's, as a second choice, I'm happy with Ryan Fredericks for now. We down the line look to improve him, but at this point, we're calm. We're calm.
Keep an eye on the live chat. I think they're saying 2, but there's a lot of 3s creeping in here, so you're gonna have to do a rough count here. Hardy's putting him in category number 4. Daniel saying he's a good option all over the pitch. James has said Fredericks to get out of the club. I think that's the 8th player James has put in category number 4. James is just getting rid of everyone. He's going to FIFA. Do you know when you load up like FIFA, you just sell everyone. You just bring in you sell 8 players and bring in 3 with all your collated money because that's all you need. You don't need a squad. I think James is playing FIFA here. Scott says that number 2, he's moved up a grade due to being able to play right wing and right back. That's a bit like that for me. This time last year, I would have put him in category number 4 without hesitation. I would say, get him out. He's not good enough. Actually, I think before his injury, I thought he was really good. Since he's come back, I don't think he's done anything wrong, really. So I'd keep him in number 2. I think it's number 2. Where are you sensing the live chat are saying?
I think I'm actually sensing 2. There is a lot of 3s in there, but 2 seems to be the predominant number for me.
I think so. I think 2. No one's put him in key. There's a few 4s in there and a few 3s, but I think 2's... I think most people are putting him in there. He'll do for now.
Ryan Fredericks and he'll do for now. And then let's do the opposite. Ben Johnson. Tight one here.
Where did you put him?
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know.
What's your reasoning?
It feels a bit too premature to do that. I don't know where a youth player who you're not convinced by would go. Can you put him in key man? Because I don't know. I'm not convinced I think he's going to be here for a while, but he doesn't strike me as a huge breakout. It's not like Declan Rice where it was clear for all to see he's going to shoot to the moon. I think he could go on to become a serviceable Premier League right back. But I don't know if I have the heart to say. I don't know if I just don't know where he's going to lie in a year, in 2 years. So at this point, I would say yes, no, maybe. I don't know. But it would be between 1 and 3 for me.
Yeah, keep an eye on the live chat. Good luck picking a category, by the way. This is the most split I've seen it. Is that Antonio, by the way? I think you forgot to put Antonio in on the tier list.
No, Antonio's up here.
Who's that with the ball under his arm?
It's Angelo Ogbonna. All right, David Gold. It's Angelo Ogbonna.
David Gold, isn't it?
It's Angelo Ogbonna, mate.
Anyway, Ben Johnson, I put him in the 3 because I'm just sort of I don't know, because you got to give him time. You got to give him a chance to prove himself, but he's not been given that chance yet. So that's why I put him in. Don't know. And then once he's had a chance, decide whether to when he goes into it could be 4, but it's unlikely. But it could also be key man. It could also be he'll do for now. What do you think the live chat say? More importantly, because I think they're struggling with this one.
I think they are. Early on, we were getting a lot of 2s, but there's more and more 3s are creeping in at this point. There's a couple of 2s at the end here. I think the live chat's probably saying 2.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's 2. I think we'll put in 2 as well. There's a few 1s in there, which I understand completely. Not any 4s, which is good to see.
Yes.
But I'll go for 2. Yeah, we'll go put him in there. Right, who are we going with next? Let's go with the other Antonio, the defensive Antonio.
Let's go with Angelo Ogbonna.
Ogbonna.
He'll do for now.
That's where I put him. I think the live chat's agreeing as well so far. It's purely an age thing, right? For you?
Yeah, basically, yeah. He's so good. He's so good. Out of everyone, he's been here surprisingly long at this point. He's been here almost half a decade. Actually, he has been here half a decade. And he has been very, very good. There's been times where he's been off form. There's been times where he's been on form. But he's been on form now for probably 24 months at least, And during that time, he's basically become our best centre-back and our best centre-back for a while. If he was any younger, without a shadow of a doubt, he is here for a while. But what is he, 32 now?
I think he's maybe even 33.
It has to be he'll do for now. But I don't want him to, it's not like I want him to leave. It's just more I want to see a sort of longer term upgrade come in kind of thing. I
sort of agree. Paul, let him see out his career. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Assuming his performances don't decline. I mean, He's really good, but I put him in number 2 purely because of his age, just because of his age. It's got nothing to do with ability, but I think because of his age, you do need to sort of phase him out. And that could be, it could be Alves. Alex has said here, imagine he's 27, be worth a ridiculous amount of money. I think he is. I think he's one of the best centre backs in the league. I think you can have Diaz and John Stones this season, but apart from that, you could really make a good argument as to who the third best centre back in the Premier League this season is. And I think Ogbonna would be in the running for it.
I think there's an argument. I do think there's an argument.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head who's been that good out of the whole Premier League. Diaz is the only one I think's been better than him. I think the rest, including John Stones, is up for debate, really. Where do you think there's a lot of ones? There's a lot of ones, Charlie.
There is a lot of ones. Let me just drop him back.
Have a little look and see.
Let's have a deeper gander. You're not saying Jordan Henderson's one of the best centre backs in the league, no? There is a lot of ones, isn't there?
There's a lot of ones and a lot of twos. There's a lot of ones and twos. It's between that categories. No one said 4. No one said 3. And just to iron X, just for sort of. Again, just for sort of context here, I've probably worded it wrong with key man. It's not necessarily the key man. It is long-term plan at West Ham, and that is because of his age, we think he needs phased down 2 or 3 years' time. I should have told the story at the start. I did at the start of the video yesterday. I haven't seen you go watch it, but just if you've got this far, you might as well listen for another 2 minutes. Basically, when Moyes was at Everton in 2013, he had 4 whiteboards in his secret scouting room. Whiteboard number 4 contained his squad now, and he subcategorized them. He had the players that he felt was here for a while, long term, nothing to worry about. He had the players that he felt needed phased out, whether that be because of ability or because of age, players that he was looking for replacements for, essentially short term or long term. Then he had the rest, which was like, let's get them out now kind of thing. So that's what we're doing here. This is what we're doing. So it's people are putting him in category 2 purely because of age, nothing to do with ability. Anyway, I'll shut him now. Where are you putting him, Charlie?
There was a big rally of ones after we said it. I think it's probably 1 is where the chat lies.
Put him in 1. I think HM makes a good point though. If he's a key man, so is Cresswell and Dawson, because age-wise. But Ogbonna is older than those 2 players though. So
I'd also say
the chat have spoken. He's in tier 1.
He's in tier 1. The chat has spoken.
Who have we got left? We're coming to the end. We've got a few left. Go, Jesse.
We've got 4 left. Jesse Lingard it is then. Jesse Lingard.
You know who to save till the end.
Yeah, okay.
The last one, because that's the one that caused controversy in my video. But anyway, Jesse Lingard, where are we putting him? Jesse Lingard, where are you putting him?
Which one? Who caused the most controversy? It's out of 2 people, surely.
We'll go on.
I'll tell you what. You pick the last 4 in the order you think.
Okay, right. Jesse
Lingard. I say he is in key man. He's make him his own tier. I mean, we could do just call it Ogbonna and put him in there. I think he's got to be key man, doesn't he? We have to
stick him in key man straight away. If no one in the live chat has not said 1,
it's weird because he's not our player, and so it feels odd to me saying he is a key man. He's just on loan. We still need to sign him, and losing a key man in the summer where we won't get any money back for him is a big problem if it does happen. But right now, he is imperative to this squad. He is brilliant. He is probably the most. He's great. He's great in every way. I can't think of a criticism of Jesse Lingard off the top of my head. He's the right age. We need him. We wouldn't be in this position without him.
We've got 2.
I can see
he's not played enough matches to make him a 1. I think it's a fair point. I can see what really argue about it.
Yeah, I can see what the bloodless is saying. I think that's a fair comment. What I would say is this. I don't think we would be continuing the form we had without him. You know how Ferguson would always buy a player to sort of inject something into the squad. You want competition, you want that sort of stuff in. He was that guy. We brought him in January. He brought competition to those positions, and he's taken us, even if it's not upper level, which I think he probably has. I think he's at a higher level. But even if it's not that, he's given the competition an injection of competition in that realm that I think has kept the performances high. Yeah. And for that, I would put him in key man. But I see what the bloodless is saying. Yeah.
Who we got left? Mark Noble.
My God. This Mark Noble.
It's got to be a 2 or a 4, hasn't it? Because you can't put him in 3. 3 is let's wait and see, because we all know what he offers. Saying that, the very first comment to come in is Alan saying 3. Maybe you can't put him in 3, but I think we all know what he's got. So I don't know what we're waiting to see. So it's a 2 he'll do for now, or it's a 4. It's not good enough. It's time to go.
2 for me. And it will remain 2 until he retires, I think. Maybe in the summer when we're further in, maybe after the summer I'll feel differently. At this point, I'd say 2. I don't think very fair point. I don't think I am happy with him being a squad player, and that's what he is at this point. And when I say for now, I mean until he retires. For me, it's 2, but I can't blame anyone who puts him in 4. But I don't think he's as bad as everyone else thinks he is, to be fair.
Yeah, I just didn't done it. I put him in category number 2 as well. I don't have Imid put him in category number 4, but I do think his performances this season has been decent. We've all said, let's see him as a squad player. We're seeing him as a squad player now, and his performances are good. I think the live chat's in 2 as well. I don't know. Actually, there's a lot of 4s. I don't know. There's a lot of 4s, Charlie. It's 2 or 4.
Tell you what, let's put him back down. Let's have a little gander.
It's 2 or 4. I think it might be 4 actually.
Yeah, it probably would be 4, wouldn't it? There was an early rally of thoughts. It's going to be 4, depressingly. I think it is going to be 4.
Go with the live chat. Put him in the 4. Right, so Soufal. Oh, this is easy. Where are we putting Vladimir Soufal?
Key man. He's up there for how many years? Yeah, he is.
I think he's the safest one as well. Do you know, like, you put Vice and Souček and be like, oh, someone might come by him. You put I put Bowen in there. You put both finals in there. We're like, well, is he good enough, kind of thing. Actually, with Soufal, you put him in thinking he's more than good enough, and no one's going to come get him. Maybe I'm being a bit naive, but I think he's like fine.
He's the perfect David Moyes right back. He just is. He has everything David Moyes needs. He has everything David Moyes wants. He's experienced, but he's not old. He isn't on really high wages. Everything. Kofal is going to be here for the next 3 to 4 to 5 seasons easy. He's up there for a contender for Hammer of the Year for a reason. Number 1.
I agree with that. You know, the Jared Bowen thing, there's a few players will be here in 5 years' time. I think you're right. I think Soufal will be one. Jared Bowen and Soufal will be here in 5 years' time. I don't know if I can say the same. I don't think I could say the same for Declan Rice, but you can say it for those 2. Yeah, simple as that, really. That leaves one man. Now, this one is the one that caused a lot of controversy in my video.
Yes.
I'll tell you why. If you live chat, get your numbers in for Saeed Benrahma and a little reasoning as well. What are you saying, Charlie?
Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. I really like Benrahma, and I think given time, I think Moyes will probably come to trust Benrahma and like Benrahma a lot more. If we did this video in the summer, it might be a different answer, but I think given the manager, it's yes, no, maybe, I don't know, just because I don't know where his role in the squad is going to lie. I think at this point, Moyes doesn't fully trust him. He doesn't play long and he doesn't play enough. But at the same time, I think he's not going to get to the levels we've seen him get at with Brentford unless he gets more of a chance. I think it's kind of a catch-22. At some point, one will have to give, but I don't know which way. So I would say number 3. If I was in charge, number 1. But given the realism of the club, 3.
Just before I sort of try and justify my opinion, Jordan says, just putting this here, he's passed his Royal Marine interview today. He wanted to share it because he has no fans or life. Well, Jordan, neither does Charlie. So congratulations. Well done. Seriously, well done. What an achievement that is. Good on you, lad. And, well, I assume you've got more things to go and do in order to get into Marines, but best of luck with it all. I think there's a lot of 2s here, Charlie, for Benrahma.
There is. I saw a lot of 2s, and I think that's a fair point. I think it's one of those ones where if you think about it as a tier list of 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 2 is an easier, fair place to put him. I think the reasoning for 2 would make me say 3. He'll do for now. It's not someone we're looking to improve. It's just we're not sure whether he's going to work under David Moyes or not long term. I also think it's the last and key example of the ineptitude of the board and the way everything runs, getting in a guy who the manager didn't particularly want, and then now we're here and he's had to spend all this money on it. It's just insane.
See,
I have seen a lot of 2s. I have seen a lot of 2s.
I think he's good in a 2. I put him in the yes, no, maybe, because I've not seen enough of him to suggest whether he can fit in properly under David Moyes' style. I don't want to keep a guy here that's worth 25 million now. He's still probably held these values, still worth 25 million. But if he has another season, next season is similar to what we've seen this season, his value is going to decline because he's a squad player currently. And when West Ham buy someone for 25 million, that's like immediate starter money. That's Jesse Lingard status. You come in and you start every game because you're on merit, because you're that good. He's not doing that at the minute for whatever reason. Now, whether you agree or disagree with David Moyes, I think that's a different argument. This is about this isn't about Benrahma's ability. This is about Benrahma being at West Ham long term. Well, if the manager don't like him, then unfortunately I can't see him being here long term. Now, it's not that the manager doesn't like him. The manager might like him, but I just feel like there's something just not quite clicking with them two currently, because it can't be because he's new, because Jesse Lingard's come in January and started every single game since. He's been here since the summer, and I thought he's performed well. I think he's a great player. I think he should be starting more games. I think he should be playing more games, but he isn't. So for that reason, I don't know. I'm not saying I'd sell him. I wouldn't sell him. I want to see him next season. I want to see more of him. So I think the live chat, though, Charlie, put him in the he'll do for now category. I think there's a lot of people. What I will say, though, I think Paul and a couple of other people made a really good point here, which is talented lad gets bums off seats, right? But I think that's important, which is when the fans go back, which is round the corner, it's fair to expect we'll be back in August. We will want to see Benrahma, and Benrahma will get the fans going a little bit, and I think it'll be difficult. He will probably perform even better with the fans that are cheering when he does a step over, when he skins a player and stuff like that. I think he will benefit from the crowd going back, actually. But anyway, I'm going to shut up. So I think it's a 2. So there we go. We've got our tier list, Charlie.
We do. Do you want to run through it once more?
Yeah, click on the screen. So in the key man, which means we see a long-term future for this player at West Ham. We've got Declan Rice, we've got Pablo Fernandes, Thomas Soucek, we've got Bona, Antonio, Diop, Lingard, and Soufal. Then Charlie, who's in the he'll do for now category? Who we got?
We have Lucas Fabianski, Jared Bowen, Arthur Masuaku, Big Craigie Dawson, Aaron Cresswell, Ryan Fredericks, Ben Johnson, and Saeed Benrahma.
Then we've got the unsure category. The yes, no, maybe, I don't know. We've only got 2 players in there. We've got Felipe Hansen and Fabian Balbuena, which I would suggest is a good thing. It's a very good thing if there's only 2 players that your whole squad you're not sure on. That's a good. I'd rather see players in category 4 than 3 to some extent, unless they're a youngster. I'd rather see them in there because it means that we've seen enough of them. We've decided about them. We know if they're part of our plans going forward. You don't want uncertainty. So to see only 2 in there is good. And in category number 4, GP, I think you've done a David Gold as well. Bowen is not in category number 4. That is Yarmolenko. But anyway, Charlie, category number 4, take it away.
That is Yarmolenko, Darren Randolph, Winston Reed, Manuel Lanzini, David Martin, and depressingly, Mark Noble.
All right, just quickly, Charlie. Anyone you think the live chat have got wrong?
Mark Noble. I think I would make an argument potentially for putting Ogbonna at 2. I think that's I as much as I like him there now, it's just the age thing. I don't like having someone that old in that position. Yeah,
Antonio one is for me as well. I would drop him down, but apart from that, but it's fair arguments for both, really, isn't there? It's like
I think it's a fair looking tier. No one's going to say that tier list is outright wrong. I think that's a fair looking list.
It's a fair look at yours. Anyway, we'll start wrapping it up because we don't want it to last too long. If you've enjoyed this, let us know. We'll do more of these. There's lots of stuff we can do. Things like transfer targets and stuff. We can bring in 20 transfer targets we'd be linked with. Go to the live chat and say what we're thinking. Where are we putting them? Yes, no, maybe, or who on earth is that? I think most people will be putting the players in there. Who on earth is that? But listen, there's scope to do plenty of things like with this tier list. It doesn't have to be tier list. We can do live interaction shows. We get your opinion and we put it into some sort of graph or collate your information. I enjoyed that, Charlie.
As did I. It's always good. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Listen, I was just going to say it's always good to hear people give opposite opinions. And now, Gio, what is yours?
Daniel needs a sticker for listening and paying attention here. What is my devil's advocate? What happens if we get European football? It changes stuff. Because someone said to me, what would you do with Winston Reed and Lanzini if we get European football? And part of me thought, actually, I think I would keep Lanzini around if we got European football.
And equally, would you be happy with Ryan Fredericks being a second choice right back for a team in Europe?
Anyway, that's enough. That's enough of this video. Drop a like on it, subscribe to you out here. I don't know what video is going up tomorrow. I haven't decided yet, but Saturday we've got the preview of the Leeds United game, so we'll have that up then. Charlie, thank you for your time as always. I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, and thank you to the live chat. I've deeply enjoyed this.
Good man. Catch you, mate. Cheers.